Good morning, I'm Rob Webb, and I'm pleased to be joined today by Fausto Carboni. Fausto is the CEO of the Bonfigliori Group based in Bologna, Italy, and he's been with that group for over 20 years. Fausto is another member of our NetworkScience.ai co-create community, and we're meeting with him today to learn his insights on managing change and managing technology over the past year and into the future. So Fausto, great to be with you today, and wonderful to see you again.
Thank you, Rob. It's a real pleasure to see you again.
Fausto, I'd love to get your insights. The last year has been really tumultuous for many global business leaders. We've had the virus and the health pandemic. We've had the economic impacts and the social impacts that have really devastated many aspects of society, and would love to get your perspective as a business leader in Italy, where things were particularly challenging in the beginning, how you as a leader have handled the pandemic and how your organization has handled the pandemic.
Yeah, as you rightly say, Rob, Italy was hit particularly hard right at the beginning of the pandemic. And I think we were at a disadvantage with respect to many countries because we were not prepared. We didn't have a clue what was going on. We were the first, as you probably remember, in the Western world to be hit severely by pandemic. So a lot of what we did was based on intuition and on, I would say, probably decision by heart rather than by experience, let's put it this way. Having said that, we faced that with a certain, I would say, decisive action. We decided, first of all, that we would not go for shut down more than it was strictly demanded by our government. We decided not to go largely and continuously on smart working to a large extent, especially for management team. And that was mainly to convey to our people the impression that we had the situation under control and things were going, quote unquote, as normal, which was obviously not true, but it was a way to put it. And I think it did work fine, and it helped a lot to keep people under, in the right mood. Then, of course, in practical terms, we had to deal with a lot more technology, a lot more, I would say, remote working, and improve our capacity to do that. As you said, we are a global company. We are present all over the world. We have 24 companies in the world. First problem was how to keep contact with our people in the rest of the world. I mean, 2/3 of our employees are outside Italy. You have to know that. So there is a great deal of our business which is happening outside of our own comfort area, of our own national area. So we try to implement very quickly, I would say, some strategy of continuous communication, using a lot more digital tools. Of course, traveling was not possible anymore. We are a company of great travelers. I mean, our salespeople, our operational team, our purchasing team, they're all traveling, constantly traveling. And all that was not possible all of a sudden. So we had to invest a lot of thinking, a lot of ideas in creating, generating new ways of cooperating and communicating with our colleagues all over the world. Digitalization is a process which we had already entertained for developing our business in the past few years. So it was nothing new to us, not completely new. We see digitalization in three aspects, as a threefold impact on our business. It's in process, it's in products, and it's in business model. And here we're talking mainly about processes. Processes are, white collar process and blue collar process. We're a manufacturing company, so a large portion of our digitalization effort goes into developing systems to assist the manufacturing, to improve the efficiency of manufacturing, and try to bring a better result there. When you go into digitalization process, this has little to do with pandemic, but it has something to do with pandemic. When you go into manufacturing and you have to deal with digitalization aside with blue collars, there are certain psychological aspects that you have to consider. I give you an example, a very clear example. If you're a driver of forklift, if the company decide to go for an automated AGV system to carry around material in the factory, you may think immediately that digitalization is taking away your job. And your reaction is probably not the best one, or not the one the company is expecting from you. Having said that, we need to make you understand that the next thing that will happen is the company will need somebody to program the workflow of material for AGV. And then we have to convey you the opportunity to think of that new business opportunity, career opportunity, if you like. And the company need to give you the support and the training to be able to achieve that. So this is a very fine, I would say, detailed, activity that we have to do with our people. And we started doing that already before the pandemic, but this has happened much faster during the pandemic because.
So Fausto, I hear you saying that you took a bold leadership move to really have some smart working, but for the most part to keep your leadership team
Correct.
together at the headquarters, and through the process of remote working, actually bring employees together with new ways of working using the digital technologies that you'd already invested in. And I'm wondering, now a year into the pandemic, do you think that that was the right decision? Or do you have any second thoughts about the decision that you've made?
No, we don't have second thought. I think for a company of our kind, and this, of course, is different from, different business will be different, but for a company of our kind, for a manufacturing company where you have blue collars, which are forced to come to work because they touch the product, so they need to be there, having the white collar, the organizational structure present on the job is very important. Mm-hmm. I think this was a right decision that we took. It was a good decision, and it is a decision that is paying back now.
Because one of the benefits may have been that it felt like everybody was in it together. If the blue collar workers are in the manufacturing facilities are there, and the management team is also there, it gives that sense of unity in terms of how you're approaching this.
You got it exactly right. It's a very democratic message, if you like. But it's very true. There was in no instance a situation where people at Bonfiglioli, blue collar, could say, we have to come here, but white collars are at home. No, that didn't happen. We extended our office space. We rented office space to give the right space to people according to the protocols of the health minister in Italy. But by doing that, we have been able to guarantee that all our white collar have been at work. Just to give you an idea, we have roughly 450 white collar here in Italy on a total of 1,600 people in the company, employees with the company. So it's a very relevant portion of our workforce.
What was the biggest challenge from a organizational perspective that you encountered in moving to these new ways of working? You said you'd had, prior to the pandemic, people traveling all around the globe. That's a huge change. What sort of challenges did you encounter?
Well, technological challenge, first of all. I think we were not equipped with the right tools to have all the kind of cooperation. Now we're much more expert. We use Teams a lot, Zoom and this and that. In the past, we had our system of video conference life size. And quite frankly, it was not so obvious that going, having a meeting in a different factory with some people at, so to say, 50 miles, 60 miles away, I would almost automatically go there. It's really peculiar because in Italy we have 3 factories and they are all in 1 hour car by each other. So I would most likely go there. Right now, there's absolutely no point. And it's true for me, it's true for everyone. I mean, purchasing people, quality people, engineering people, we reduced a lot the movement even within our region, which would be perfectly legal and allowed, and it was always allowed at any point in time. But just because we started thinking of this due to the fact that we had to remove foreign traveling and long distance flight and so on, we were forced to think about this solution even among ourselves, you know, within the team, the management team. So we have extended our say competence in technological, I would say, support. Engineering have put up some new system to be able to cooperate better, you know, based on PLM technology, but we extended that a lot. We had PLM before, but we didn't exploit, I guess, completely the capability. And now we do. Now we definitely do. So I think
the move to digital is accelerating in many ways, it's accelerating your use of the tools, and the new ways of working are more collaborative.
By far and large, yes. And from the organizational standpoint, though, we had to face another challenge. We had few, I would say, formalized working teams, meaning that you know, a work team that include, for example, the branch managers of our top 5 international plants, you know, India, China, Germany, United States, and so on. Create roundtables, which were happening physically before, you know, for manufacturing systems, for example, for operational engineering, for product engineering. These things did exist before physically, but they didn't exist from the organizational standpoint. So we had to formalize organization discussion point, focus groups for different subjects, by utilizing digital platforms, but supported by an organization that says that that thing must happen, and it must happen in that format. It must happen in those specific dates. We have been able to do that because we have, I would say, in general, a good level of discipline within the team. So we have been able to introduce changes relatively quickly. This happened, I would say, around the middle of last year, not in the first day of pandemic, but as soon as we realized that this was not going to go away quickly, let's put it this way. I mean, we realized we had to deal with this for a long time.
What do you think the major benefit of this new way of working will be to your organization? Do you think that it's going to accelerate your product development processes? It obviously will be reducing travel costs. What other types of benefits do you see?
Well, travel costs, you said that. I mean, we're a company of big travelers, as I told you before. We're all over the world, so we tend to spend quite a bit in tickets and hotels. That was a saving, and that saving, we enjoyed the saving in the P&L last year, and we like to keep part of that for the future as well. Okay, so that's one thing. I think it has accelerated the cooperation, the international cooperation, in a way that I give you an example. If I'm sitting here and I think that there is something that I would like to discuss with my Chinese local managing director, and I know that I have to go to China in a month, I keep it there and say, okay, when I go there at 4 eyes, we can discuss. Now I know that I'm not going to China for the next God knows what. I mean, for a long time anyway. So I take the ball immediately and I say, you know, we need to have a video conference on this. In this sense, I think is conditioning the way people think about work and planning, and in reality is making things faster rather than slower. This is happening to everyone. You know, I see it every day. I mean, we talk to people and we say, we should do this in China. Okay, now let's put up a video conference tomorrow. Video conferences have become the way of working. I don't particularly like them because I'm an empathic person, so I like sitting with people, I like talking to people, like looking at their eyes, and they tell you a lot more sometimes. But it's very efficient. It's very efficient, and now I speak with my team in different parts of the world much more often than before.
So it's actually enhanced your communication.
Enhanced the communication a lot, yes.
Enhance the communication, enhance the speed, I hear, also of taking action on new innovation initiatives or collaboration globally.
Absolutely.
What about your business model? Do you see fundamental changes to your business model emerging through the use of technologies?
One thing we need to consider for the future is product launches and product display for the market. Now, our business has been based a lot, the commercial business model of our business has been based a lot on exhibitions. Exhibitions trade shows are an important thing. They are more important in certain countries than others, but overall they are important situations where you see a lot of people coming to the same place at the same time, and you show your important new things. This year, of course, we didn't have any trade show, so we were forced to learn digital launch and digital shows. Now, this has an interesting side effect. When you launch a product digitally, all your team in the world is present there at the same time, and they must be there. And everyone is fully aware of what was explained and what was discussed. When you launch a product in an exhibition, you launch it in the direction of the general market. Your team very often doesn't know unless they get communication. But very often you find yourself talking to people, say, yeah, we have that new product. So which new product? So because that goes away from their attention unless they are present at the event, which is obviously not possible for everyone. So this has enhanced a lot, I think, the possibility for us to push the knowledge of the new product to our team in a better way. I think we have learned a new technicality in this, and we will apply that further in the future. I'm not saying that we will walk away from trade shows. I don't think we will. Probably trade shows, there will be less trade shows, but that's an organizational matter for the trade show organization, because there will be less money in it. So there will probably be less events. But we'll continue to make digital launch of the product 100%, even if we have trade shows. We didn't do it before.
Have you found that this situation has created an opportunity to become closer and more intimate with your customers, even if you can't be in their same physical presence?
Definitely yes. Definitely yes. Overall, working in this way is, we can call it more efficient. I mean, it's not better, but it's more efficient. So our customers themselves probably have more time to spend with us, to devote to looking at the projects, because their time is organized in a more efficient way. One thing that I can say is working with existing customers have become probably easier for our teams. Our sales team, our engineering team are very punctual on the different customers, and they discuss the new projects. What has become very difficult, and is the real drawback in all this, is shifting market share. If I have to go to a new customer, somebody that I don't know yet, who doesn't know me, and I have to convince them that I'm better than competition, doing that digitally is very complicated, very complicated. So where you are established with the customer and you have to develop a new project, no problem at all. As a matter of fact, I think it's probably more efficient now than before. You can organize a lot more meetings, you can make it quicker. 2 hours video conference, you can say a lot of things. Even if you are in the US, you don't waste 2 days to go back and forth. So yeah, very good. But if I have to make market development or business development, and they have to visit customers of somebody else to make them understand that my product offering, my value proposition is better. It's very, very difficult. Very difficult.
So the relationships you had before the pandemic with customers, you've been able to deepen those and grow those. However, establishing new relationships has been more challenging because you don't have that physical presence and the establishment of trust based on some, pre-existing relationship.
Exactly. Especially for customers who have a serial production. They tend to go by inertia to the existing supplier. It's true in both sense. When a customer has a new project, as a single project, have to make a big equipment for mining or marine or something like that, they will eventually come to us if they know us and ask for a proposal. And you can work just exactly as if you could visit them. But people who already know that you exist and that you have a possible product proposition, if you really have to go and scout something new, it's difficult. Challenging.
I'm curious, this digital way of working is here to stay. What would be the one improvement that you'd love to see in the technology and kind of the way we work? The thing today that you find, the most frustrating about using all of these new technology tools?
I think there's still a little bit space for improvement in the collaboration. Collaborating on the same document is possible today, but it is limited. It is not really, or at least for what we have seen so far, we do that on Teams, but that's limited. Engineering do that on PLM, but it's also limited. So that is, having something that at the end of a meeting is completely shared and written at four hands, so to say, myself and the guy on the other side of the screen, especially when the hands are not four, but there are many more because there's probably 10 people connected, is a little messy. I think we all learned to be a little more educated in dealing with video conferencing. We, being Italian, have the tendency to speak on each other. Now you have to get away from that habit right away, because otherwise video conference gets very, very messy very quickly. So I think some of the improvement is in the culture of people, but some of the improvement probably also the technology, yes.
That's it. And then, during this pandemic, information security threats have grown exponentially. A lot of people very, very concerned about new threats. Have you, in your business, had any heightened sense of concern or awareness about these things going on?
We went through a hacker attack in 2019, so it was before the pandemic. So we had the hacker attack, a bad one, a real bad one. We were able to manage to get out of that. We had some level of security, not perfect. We had improved a lot our level of security since. We spent quite a bit of money in that, in getting licenses of virus protection and so on. Malware protection was a ransomware in reality we had. So moving into digital for a lot of our activities, day by day activities, did not cause me a particular concern, because we were burned so badly before. We had taken so many actions before that I think we are a very solid company in respect of security there. I sleep completely confident now.
Fantastic. Well, look, it's been great to catch up with you again, Fausto, and thank you for sharing your leadership insights on how you've managed the pandemic with the co-create.ai forum sponsored by Network Science. And it's really been a pleasure to speak with you again. Thank you.
My pleasure, Rob. Thank you very much for your questions, and I wish you all the very best for the future, and we'll get rid of this pandemic sooner or later, but not of digital.
Exactly. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.